All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome to today's video. In this one, we're talking about my most current build of the P365 XMacro by Sig Sauer. We did do a video featuring my previous version of what this gun used to be. If you're not familiar, the Sig P365 series is very modular. It's the trigger group, and you can plug it out, change out the grip modules for the styling or the size and magazine capacity, and then you can throw on, any slides, any accessories that you want. So this gun, as it is right now, is looking a good bit different from how it has ever looked on the channel. And I did catch a lot of heat in the last version that the gun was really ugly, hideous, and people weren't. It was kind of polarizing. Some people loved it, but some people were very vocal about not loving it. So in this one, I think we have landed on a gun, a build that is not an offense to the eyes, and I'm excited to share it with you guys. So in full disclosure, looking at the parts that I got, Zaffiri Precision sent out this barrel and comp, sent that to me for free. I'm gonna be talking about it here in the video, obviously. And then Tyrant CNC sent to me this grip module and all of these little gold touches on the lower that you see here, also for free. Also the slide cap here. And on the back of the magazine, we've got a little red base plate there. Both of these companies, no money was exchanged, and my thoughts are my thoughts. There's no influence or talking points. So the reason why you've seen so many versions, if you're familiar with my channel, of the P365 on my channel is because I am just really interested in the carry gun kind of niche. I want to find the perfect carry gun that is a marriage of size, shootability, comfort, and concealability, but also with accuracy and ability to put rounds downrange quickly and effectively. That can be hard to find in a micro or a very slimline gun because you're losing the advantage of weight and of size. Both of those will help in controlling the gun while you're firing it. We'll talk about some of the upgrades that I've done here to increase that. Before we dive into the build, I'd like to talk about the context of this gun a little bit more. And so I wanted to kind of theme it gold, obviously, and then have some tastes with red. It's got 3 little hints of red there, and I think it's a great aesthetic blend. I did hand pick out all of these parts, the colors, and what I wanted for this build, so it wasn't assigned to me from Zaffiri and Tyrant. I knew that the light gray grip module with the tan FDE compensator was kind of an ugly look, and there was a lot of things going on there that kind of clashed. So I really went in with aesthetics in mind, but also the performance and just practicality that these upgrades are going to provide. There are some downsides to this gun build, and we can go over that a little bit later. Now let's just dissect the parts, what we got going on here, and my experience with them. Before we jump in, I'd like to thank some sponsors here. Quick ad read. DK Mags, they're a gun store located here in Minnesota, but they have a fantastic online catalog. They've got everything you could ever want as a gun guy: guns, ammo, holsters, parts, NFA items, really just everything under the sun. So if you're interested, go ahead, check out their catalog. If you're local, if you're a Minnesotan, go on in store, let them know that I sent you, and they'll give you a discount off of nearly everything in the store. Next up, I'm a videographer, so if you are getting married, if you know anyone getting married, I do weddings, I do promos, kind of commercial style. So if you have a video idea that you want to put and bring to life, you can check out my website down below there. You'll find my portfolio as well as my contact page. Okay, enough with the shameless plugs. Talking about the compensator here at the very front of the gun. This is the Zaffiri Precision comp, threadless comp, and barrel combo. So you kind of have to get them both together because the compensator doesn't screw on like a traditional compensator would. You use this little set screw at the very bottom to kind of seat it in place on the end of the barrel. The barrel has the hole cut into it, so it's basically a port with a little bit of a weight on the end, because you could just take the comp part off and it would still be a ported barrel, still have that recoil mitigation there, but it looks great with the little short compensator at the front. It does do some work in reducing recoil. It does a bit more than other comps I've tried on this gun itself. So the Harrington Arms compensators have not reduced recoil as much as this. The FDES ported barrel with a compensator cut into the slide, not the barrel. I think it does a little bit better. I may be wrong. I haven't shot that one for a while, but it feels pretty comparable to me from what I can remember. Accuracy is great with the barrel. The finishing has held up. I've shot probably, I don't know, maybe 300 rounds through this gun so far, and there is no like marring, no excessive wear that I'm concerned about. So I would recommend this barrel as of kind of where I am at with my testing of it. And yeah, I think it's, I don't want to say the price because I don't want to get it wrong, but I think it's pretty reasonable compared to like the Radiant Ramjet for the 365 and some other, I guess like, what is it, the JTTC from PMM. If you've seen the P365 build before, you'll have noticed that there were window cuts on the slide that I had before. That slide broke, it cracked. I was shooting plus P hollow points, and on like the second mag of doing so, the gun just went out of battery permanently, and it was like stuck in this open position, and I couldn't get it to close. We were trying to figure out everything, and then we just took a closer look, and it cracked kind of right next to where the barrel is. So that's not great. I had that slide for a few years, but it should be able to take loads, even though they were plus P. It should be able to handle that. It's not like I've been shooting plus P out of it exclusively. So we went back to the drawing board, got the stock 365. This is not actually an XMacro slide, it's just a stock like 365 slide, but it doesn't matter because it all fits the same platform, it all runs the same. So I might go with an aftermarket one, but I'm kind of scared, a little bit burnt on aftermarket slides right now, so I'm just going back to Old Faithful and running what I know is gonna work for sure. Fortunately, it has an optic cut, so I do have a Siley Cat X Pro on top. They did send this out to me for free, and it's a fantastic dot. People have done torture tests on it. I will not be dropping this gun or trying to break the optic because I know that it holds up to some serious use if you were to drop it or really push it to its limits. In the near future, I think I might be swapping it out for a HoloSun SCS Carry, which is a solar optic. It's a fully enclosed emitter. And so you'll be seeing a video in the future talking about HoloSun's solar optics, and this platform will be featured in it. As far as the Tyrant CNC upgrades go, we have this back plate here. Just a nice little red touch. There's no like performance gain by putting that in. It just looks sick. And then we've got their snub nose grip module. So this retains the rail style of the P365 and I guess like the 365 XL. So it's not a 1913, it's not a Picatinny rail. So if you're buying a light, you're gonna wanna get, or a holster, you're gonna wanna get one made for the 365 as opposed to the XMacro. Additionally, the light rail does not go past the length of the 365 slide, unlike the XMacro, because that one extends out probably near flush to where the comp would be. I did do a tiny bit of like custom hand stippling just myself, a little bit of texture on the thumb, right, or on the side ledge right here for my thumb, and then a little bit of texture underneath the trigger guard there for a little bit more grip, a little bit more grab for my index finger when I go to present the gun and I'm trying to control it on a recoil. That's just kind of a taste that I like on all of my guns. The texture on the grip is great. It is not really too bitey. It's on the more tame side, so it's definitely more than what you get from a stock Glock, definitely like a stock Sig, but it's full wrap essentially. It does leave the middle finger portion for your right hand smooth, which I do like. But it's not gonna chew holes in your shirt, it's not gonna eat up your skin, but just know that you're gonna have a little bit less aggression when it comes to how hard the gun's gonna grip you back when you're shooting it, but I find it to be enough. Even when I'm wearing gloves, I did shoot this gloved outside. These two pieces are, I feel like you have to get them both, maybe even all three, but I will talk about the thumb safety in a little bit. These two pieces are kind of essential to go together. This is the slide takedown lever as well as the slide stop, or the slide catch, slide release, whatever you want to call it. They're super sleek, they're really slim, and I think it just makes the gun look really clean when you look at this gold line across the frame of it. And you can see here, when you actuate the slide catch, it goes up. When you turn the slide takedown lever, it's just really clean. It feels like the tolerances are tighter than what the stock comes with. Downsides being, I was shooting, I do sometimes like to switch the way that I shoot, either going with my middle finger beneath the trigger guard and then kind of wrapping up high to control recoil maximally. And then also doing the traditional two-handed shooting grip where you just bring your index finger like this and then you wrap forward. When I was shooting with the middle finger style, I was getting my hand cut open from this right here. The edge on the slide catch is sharp enough to literally just take chunks of skin out of this meaty portion of your thumb. And it hurt. It wasn't like it was definitely taking stuff out. It wasn't a light sanding or anything. So that's a downside. You just, unless you're wearing gloves, shouldn't shoot it with a really high purchase a lot of shooters are switching to. So you might have to adjust the style of shooting, which could certainly be a con for you if this is the way that you feel like you need to shoot. Additionally, if you're not riding the thumb safety, like unless your thumb is positively pressing down on it like so, while you're shooting, it's gonna flip up and then you're gonna be like, why won't the trigger pull? Tap rack, and then you're gonna be like, oh crap. So you have to ride the thumb safety. Once you disengage it, you cannot get off of that with your thumb. Otherwise the recoil is going to shoot it back up. The way in which you cut the grip for a thumb safety is super easy. They have it kind of stenciled out on the inside of it, but you just take a pair of, I'm thinking like the wire cutter pliers, and you just literally clip it out on either side and then bend it, and then it'll just pop out. And so that it's really easy to make the cutout for it, and you're not guessing where the lines are because it's essentially stenciled out for you. I do wish I didn't get the thumb safety, I'm not gonna lie, because even though I do shoot 2011s a good amount, and that's the style that's how I approach the thumb safety, is I just pop it down and kind of stay on it. I don't know, I do feel a type of way about a carry gun being so finicky with the safety, but essentially that comes down to a training issue. So as long as I continue to train my dry fire, train my live fire by shooting it the way that it was meant to be shot, that it needs to be shot in order to functionally shoot, it's gonna be fine. So I think I'll get over that hurdle very quickly here. Magazine release, that's great. Nothing to complain about. It just looks awesome, and it works just as well as the stock one. The base pad here, it adds a little bit of weight just because of that metal material. There's a little bit more chunk there. So these are metal mags. So like with Glock, the polymer magazines, they're a little bit lighter weight. And also the polymer on the polymer, kind of that contact zone that the mag funnel goes through, is prone to a little bit more friction than metal is. So with Glocks, when you drop the mag, sometimes it gets caught or stuck, even when it's empty, and you have to worry a little bit about having like a base pad, a weighted base pad, so that it drops freely, more quickly, more reliably. But that's not an issue with the Sig because it's metal mags, and also the base pad here it does have a little bit more weight to it. So that's been great. And yeah, I'm just really happy with this build overall. Oh, I forgot the trigger. Yeah, so I've got their IntelliFire trigger, which is probably their most innovative release here. It essentially mimics the Glock trigger where you have that safety, that safety middle shoe, to where unless you're on that, like I'm trying to pull the trigger here on either side, and it will not pull because that trigger safety is not engaged. So once you engage it, it's ready to go. It doesn't cut into you. It does go down flush with the trigger, unlike like the 43X and the 48 in the Glock lineup, their trigger shoe. It still sticks out even when you pull it down. So when you're shooting the gun, it doesn't feel all that steady because your finger is like on a middle point on the trigger. So that's just kind of an ergonomics, comfort, relatively subjective thing there. But I do think it's a very comfortable surface area you have with the trigger. Talking about the trigger, how it behaves, the wall is very firm when you meet it. And then there's a good bit of creep, like more than I'm used to. Because I do shoot 2011s, I shoot a Glock performance trigger, typically. So there's a little bit more creep, which I don't love. It's less creep than the stock trigger. The reset is improved over stock as well. So once you come off the trigger, it is a bit more of an aggressive reset that kind of forces your finger forward so that you're ready to get back onto the trigger. Overall, I think it's a better trigger than the stocked trigger that comes with the gun, in the way that it gives you an additional safety measure, but also it just behaves better. It's more shootable in my opinion. It's not a competition trigger, it's not a performance trigger, so just bear that in mind, but it is a little bit better than what you're probably running right now. I'm really excited to continue carrying this gun. As it gets warmer up here, once I get my Glock 48 kind of custom build back from Charles over at Battle Ready Arms and make some content there, I might put a shorter grip on here. I might run it as the kind of 10+1 configuration size in the actual P365 style. But for now, I am liking the kind of perfect middle ground Glock 19 competitor because it's like a skinnier version than the 19, but it carries more rounds. So I'm enjoying it for what it is at this point, and I'm gonna continue shooting it, continue carrying it. I'll report back if there are any issues in the near future, but would love to hear your guys' thoughts on whether you've been considering any of these parts and what your P365 XMacro builds are looking like for you. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to stay safe out there. God bless you and your family, and don't forget to live a life worth defending. We'll see you in the next one.